Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV for another match review. The morning after the afternoon from before. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. But before we get into it, let's smash the intro, people. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert JTV. Social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. Yes, people. Good Easter. Happy Bank Holiday Monday. Easter Monday. Yes, people. What a game from yesterday. Let me get the obligatories out the way first because there's a lot to talk about and dissect. Smash the like button and subscribe to Albert JTV. And all the listeners, this will go out on my Spotify and Anchor. So be prepared to hear my dulcet tones and my Scottish brothers' dulcet tones as well, representing the northwest of England. But yeah, what a game! What a game! I probably would have done a different match review if I did it last night, as I'm going to do now with my bro Doug. Loving to bits, amazing Liverpool fan. Doug, great to get you on to discuss the draw at Anfield yesterday. How you been, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm delighted with the point because after the first 30 minutes, you guys were absolutely all over us. So no, to get a draw was very, very good. But no, thank you very much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it, and it is good to be back on this channel.
No, much love, man. No, I came onto your show for the preview, so no, obviously, I love talking football with you, man. But yeah, mate, as I said at the beginning, sort of as I came on, yeah, I probably would have done a bit of a different match review if I'd have done it last night as opposed to doing it this morning. But sometimes with me, as I said to you before we went live, with when Arsenal play Liverpool, particularly, right, for me, it's quite personal, if I'm being honest. So when we won at the Emirates, I was all over the place, and obviously the game yesterday, that was yeah, that was an emotional roller coaster, man. And I did my fan cam for Mo, and then I just kind of just checked out for a little bit when I spent some time with the family because sometimes, Doug, you know, with Twitter especially, it's. I get it. Football can be an emotional game, but sometimes people just they just get a bit too. And I think that kind of game yesterday, I get it as an Arsenal fan. You know, 2-0 up at Anfield doesn't happen very often in recent years, so I thought let me do the review today. So I want to get you back on and we discuss it. But people in the chat, get your virtual hellos and hugs in. Let me go to my guy before I start getting into Doug. Yes, Trevs, man. Oh, Trevs, long journey, man. Went to Liverpool game. The legend, an Arsenal legend in Trevs, man, goes home and away and everywhere. So Trevs, get better soon, mate. But yeah, we're gonna dive into this. But Doug, yeah, so you know, I think it is Doug, yeah, and I kind of mentioned this before when we played you guys at the Emirates that Arsenal started the season well.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of rival fans in particular and certain sections of the media thought Arsenal started well, but you know they're going to fall off against usual suspects when we played like the top 5 or 6 teams. But were you surprised in terms of how Arsenal started that game yesterday? Yeah.
I thought the way you started that first, as I said, the first 30 minutes, I thought you were excellent. You know, to go 2-0 up very, very early on as well. Like, obviously, the Martinelli goal was wonderful finish from Martinelli. I mean, he just manages to get there ahead of Alisson. But no, from the minute one, you were on to us. You were on to us. I think you won a corner in like the first minute. I think it was as well. Yeah. I really thought you played like you have been playing that recently this season. I think you've been the best team in the league this season by a long way. And I thought yesterday, you started really, really well. And obviously with the Martinelli goal, it was a very, very good finish as well. And then how apt that it's Easter Sunday, and a man called Jesus scores the second goal. And I have to say, it's a wonderful header. Completely out jumps Van Dijk and Robertson, and you know he scores. And then after that, the one man I have been praising all season for being the most improved player in the Premier League, in my opinion, he lost his head. Xhaka. I don't know why he was getting involved with Trent. And I think that kind of ignited the crowd, and I think that kind of got us back in the game. I actually thought yesterday, I don't know if you were obviously thinking the same, but I thought there may be a red card in this game. I think it was quite feisty at times, especially with obviously Trent and Xhaka. But no, wonderful game of football, wonderful game for the Premier League, wonderful game for TV as well. And we usually have classics between Liverpool and Arsenal, and we've had 2 classics this season as well. But what I will say, it's not often you take 4 points off Liverpool in recent seasons.
Yeah, you're right, Doug. I mean, I've got to be honest. I won't say I got into arguments with people that I know who I work with who just they see football in very black and white. If you beat us, you're lucky. You win, you like. Just there's no context to what they talk about, so I just don't entertain conversation with certain people when it comes to football. But I said to some Liverpool fans, I said, look, I know our record is horrendous at Anfield, and it is. I mean, 1 in 11 years, I think it is now. Since Arteta was playing, but our away from this season has been excellent. Actually, the best in the league, actually. And I think there was a stat. I think we've gained the most points from going behind. I think in the league, actually. I think that is right. I think that's from away from home or just winning positions. I can't remember which one it is, but even I have to be honest, right? And I don't know what some of the Arsenal fans thought at the game yesterday or going, a couple of days before the game or whatever. We've gone to Anfield and we've been out of the game within the first 15, 20 minutes for quite a number of years, actually. But that performance for me for 40 minutes, actually, before we conceded the goal, was even better than what I thought. I thought the first half against Tottenham away was excellent, but I thought it eclipsed that, to be honest with you, which was a shame to concede the goal. But what I didn't understand, though, Doug, coming back to you again, is I'll be honest, I don't know how you felt about Paul Tierney, but I don't think he had a good game at all. And I'll give you an example. I thought the tackle by Ben White, which he got a yellow card for, I couldn't see how that dissimilar from the tackle on Konate on Xhaka. The only difference is one person got booked and the other person didn't. Like, I couldn't. I just thought I don't think he had a particularly very good game. But sort of coming back to you, Doug, sort of thing is I get what you're saying about the Xhaka thing. But I think from an Arsenal point of view, I think even with the goal we conceded to go 2-1, I actually think we should have done better. I don't. Gabriel's in the perfect position. I got no idea why he's gone with his left foot, because if he goes with his right foot, he completely clears that. Would you agree with that or not really?
Yeah, I think as well that goal there, the Salah goal, I think Zinchenko is out of position. I think you see him in the sort of a centre back position, and I think as well, Salah would be his man. As well, but I've got to say after the first goal, it certainly lifted the crowd. But I've got to say that goal yesterday definitely got us back in the game, and I think the last 15 minutes of that half, I think we were the team on top, and I think we were. I wouldn't say we were sort of in the ascendancy, because I think you guys could have gone 3-1 up. I think you had a chance just before the halftime whistle went, and then we'll obviously get into it. I mean the antics at halftime. I don't know about you, mate, but I have never ever seen anything like that in a football match ever.
No, it was. Before we are going to come to that, but I want to sort of ask you about Liverpool, really, because I was watching them playing yesterday. I mean, you watch them more than I do, and I know their season's been up and down, but that first half, I don't know what was going on defensively. Like, just some of the basics. I was thinking, this is not Liverpool side that I've seen over the years. I don't know if was you happy with the team lineup? Is that what you would have gone for? And defensively, why was you so poor yesterday?
I just think it's been a case of same old Liverpool. yesterday. Defensively, we've been an absolute shocker. Van Dijk has not been the same, I don't think, since his ACL injury. I've kept saying that. Trent, I think we're now sort of seeing, like yesterday, he was sort of moving into some midfield positions. Now, I think Trent wants to move into midfield. I was a bit surprised at the lineup, I'll be honest. I was surprised not to see Darwin Núñez there, but obviously it came out after the game that he had a slight illness just before the game kicked off. So obviously understandable that he was on the bench. I would have probably preferred Gomez to Trent for his defensive stabilities at right back, but I think we're now seeing Trent wanting to be a midfielder. I don't think he's a defender. But I've got to say, out of obviously the two centre-backs, I thought Konate, especially in the second half, though he was very, very good yesterday. And hopefully now we're sort of going into the Leeds game. We've obviously been beaten by 5-1 by Crystal Palace. That was a mad result. I was watching that game yesterday.
Crazy.
I think that's only the second time the Crystal Palace have scored 5 away in an away game. Anyway, but obviously going back to the lineup, Klopp has a fascination with starting Jota at the moment, and it's clearly not working. He hasn't scored, I don't think, in now 32 games. Ooh. So it's a big drop off. I know he's been injured, and I know he suffered a serious injury earlier this season, but I think for me personally, because of his record against Arsenal, and obviously he did get the goal, obviously got the draw. Yeah. I would have started Firmino yesterday in the false 9 position, and I would start Gakpo on the left. If obviously you're not starting Núñez. Jones was an interesting pick, I'll be honest. Yeah. I would have probably started with Thiago because I thought yesterday when he came on, he looked like his old self. As well, but no. Defensively, this season we have been in absolute shambles. Away from home, our defense is really, really poor, and it's basically the same at home. But the thing is, before that game, and obviously we did speak on my show.
Yeah,
we'd only conceded 9 goals at Anfield this season, so another 2. That's obviously 11 goals. Not many teams do score goals at Anfield, so. That is one thing to look at, but I wasn't surprised how bad defensively we were yesterday, because I think yesterday you look at Martinelli, in my opinion, probably one of the best left wingers in world football right now in the Premier League. He had Trent on toast down that left hand side. I mean, the amount of times he went past him, it was just very, 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 very crazy. But no, definitely defensively, we have been a shambles this season.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I think for Arsenal, I think like I said, coming into the game, like I said, our away form has been good this season, but like I said, even I got to be surprised, even with not many games to go this season. That I think what it showed me, and sort of on reflection after the game, and whether some rival fans might admit as well, I got to know. That was before, obviously, for about 40 minutes, Arsenal, that was a very different Arsenal side that have gone to Anfield in a number of years. Assured, the attacking wise looked dangerous. They control possession very, very well. We scored within the first 10 minutes. We get another goal to go 2-0. So I don't know. It was perfect. It just, the issue was conceding the goal before halftime. I think that was the problem, because it's a different team talk at 2-0. As it's a 2-1. Even if we'd have gone in halftime 2-0, I'd have expected a lot better performance from Liverpool to come out. And obviously what they did in the second half anyway. Just before we sort of touch on to that, what do you make of sort of the analysis of Trent in particular? Because I mean, there's a lot of talk and debate with Neville and Carragher. What's your thoughts in terms of his form and long-term future?
As I said, I think he's a right-sided midfielder, right-sided right wing back. I don't think he's a right back now. I think yesterday you saw him sort of being in sort of almost Fabinho's position, like being sort of a DM sort of role. Defensively, shocking. Very, very bad, shockingly, defensively. But yesterday, offensively, that is the Trent Alexander-Arnold I think
very good.
Liverpool fans have been kind of wanting to see. Not that he has to do so much defending. He was poor defensively yesterday, but obviously the crossover, obviously, Firmino in the second half was very, very good. But I think as well he did play some nice balls out to Mo Salah.
Yeah.
As well. So he has an eye for a pass. He certainly does have an eye for a pass. Does Trent?
No, it does, and then and also as well. I think I heard the stat. I don't know if it's right, Doug. Was it Liverpool haven't conceded at home? Is that in 2023? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, yesterday. Wow. I mean, I didn't realize that even as the season hasn't been that great. But so that's why it's even better the start Arsenal had. I mean, we've gone to Anfield and scored early, but then we've got pummeled just a few seasons ago. But yeah, it was a great start, man. Martinelli, and obviously Gabriel Jesus as well. And obviously you come back into it with the goal with Salah. But for me, yeah, I think Gabriel's got to do better personally. And I love Gabriel, but I just think you see the ball coming towards you. I just cannot understand why it's gone with his left foot. I watched the I thought I've seen it in real time. Let me watch it again so that it's not me being hypercritical. But I'm like, no, you got to defend better than that for me personally, because you stopped that goal from going in. But like I said, second half, it's a different ball game, man. And Liverpool came out fast, man. They did. They came out fast. And you see it with a penalty, right? My own personal opinion, it's not about whether it should have been given or shouldn't have been given, but I thought Paul Tierney couldn't wait to give the decision personally. And I watched it back again this morning, Doug, and I've got to be honest, I don't really think he even attempted to try and make a tackle, really. So, but I wasn't surprised at giving. Did you think it was a penalty?
No, I didn't. I think Jota is anticipating the contact to come from Rob Holding.
Yeah.
But for me, no, I didn't think it was a penalty. I think we got away with one, but that's our first penalty at Anfield in a long, long time.
I heard that, yeah.
And the thing is, I didn't think Tierney had a pretty good game yesterday at all. I thought I don't think he's a particularly good ref either. And yeah, I agree with you. I think he was just waiting to give it. He was literally too quick to make a decision. And the funny thing is that obviously I hate talking about VAR, and especially after this weekend. But I'm amazed VAR didn't actually ask him to go to the monitor to have another look, because I felt it wasn't a penalty.
I didn't think it. I thought he's not really done a lot. I mean, he's like, the thing is, you can engage to go towards the ball without actually making a tackle. And if anyone, please watch it back. It's not my eyesight. Trust me, Rob Holding does not make a tackle. Like you said, I think Jota's waiting for the contact. He's felt him and he's gone down to the ground. And like I said, I thought Paul Tierney personally, he couldn't wait to give a penalty. So I'm with you on that. And I think the problem was what. All right, let me before I sort of the missed penalty from Salah, but what did you think Liverpool done better in the second half that they wasn't doing in the first half?
I think we got at you more. I think we attacked much better, and I think the tackle on Xhaka from Konate, I think, got the crowd up again. I know there's loads of people saying that, it was it might have been a yellow card. Xhaka makes that tackle. Then I did see a lot of things on Twitter, but I thought it was a perfectly good time tackle from Konate. I just thought that was in pace to what his performance was yesterday. I thought he was really good yesterday, but I think we started better in the second half. We started a lot better. I mean, you guys could have easily gone 3-1 up. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it could easily been 2-2 at half time because Robertson had a good opportunity.
Yes, he fired it wide.
And I keep saying Robertson should shoot more. But after yesterday, probably not. Because I actually think if that's Zinchenko, I think that's in the back of the net.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's because I kind of and I'm not saying this because I'm being wise after the event. Listen, Arsenal fans, I'm sure will back me up. Like I said, our record at Anfield isn't great, and when you're sitting that deep for the best part of 35 minutes plus, I think it's almost inevitable you're going to concede. But I think probably the people thought the stars were lying when Salah missed the penalty. I didn't see that coming. I've got to be honest. I was shocked when he missed it. But he also had chances. I thought what happened we kind of went away from what we did well in the first half and what we've done this season away from home. Like I said, we sat too deep. We didn't really get any opportunities. We didn't really create any opportunities. Sorry, to sort of get in behind Liverpool or our front three to work your defense. I thought Zinchenko was really, really good. Actually, I thought what he did, as much as people think he's risk and reward, and he is when he steps into that midfield role. But what he gave us yesterday, and what you definitely need in games like that is composure and someone that's good on the ball. And he was excellent. I thought at times Jesus, what we've missed with him is his ball retention is excellent. He can keep the ball very, very well. But Doug, other than we got into Liverpool's like final third, but I think the only times I can remember, Gabriel should have scored that header. Oh, it was perfectly on him to score that, make it 3-1, and the game for me would have been done. But yeah, I thought Liverpool obviously came into a lot more. Trent was very influential in the final third, very, very influential, and obviously assist for the goal. But when you got it back to 2-2, I think you know what it is for me, and this is what I was saying to you before we went live, that it's probably the reason why I didn't want to do a live match reaction afterwards, because if we'd have conceded it to go 2-2, and it's the 75th minute, we held on for 2-2, then I would have felt a lot differently than us conceding with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah,
because it just, the mindset is a lot different. It's very different, but I think we went very, very quickly from being 2-1 up to getting back to 2-2, and to me there was a strong possibility we could lose that game, and it almost happened with if it wasn't for our Aaron Ramsdale, man. It's a save from Nunes, but for me Nunes has got to do better. This save from Salah was absolutely exceptional, considering it had a deflection as well. And what I must say about Aaron Ramsdale, especially Doug, before I come to you with your thoughts on him, is that he's done this all season. When we beat Tottenham away 2-0, I think he got man of the match. People in the chat tell me if I got that wrong or right, but he was excellent against Tottenham away. We played at home against Bournemouth. He pulled off some very, very key saves. He did it against Leeds a few weeks ago at home. He's done it all season, but for me, for some reason, and I won't mention the person that said it. I heard a rival fan say that he's just another overexcited Joe Hart. I'll tell you who said that off the street. But what do you make of Aaron Ramsdale? Because he got us a point yesterday. Let's have it right, because we would have lost that game. But yeah, come in, mate. Doug, go on, bro.
I'll be honest. When you signed Aaron Ramsdale,
yeah.
all I could remember was basically the stat that he basically, every club he's gone to, he's relegated. Now, I knew then that Arsenal were never, ever going to be a side that would get relegated.
Of course.
I think he has shown this season that he has proven a lot of the doubters wrong. I think as well, yesterday, that save from Salah may well have won you the title, because that save is massive. It is a massive, massive save. Even the deflection makes it a lot better as well. And I mean, I can't believe the Kanai when I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to sort of chest it down.
Doug, with that, like, all the listeners, you're obviously not going to know, but I've got an image on the screen of the Ramsdale. Well, Ramsdale saves it, but obviously there's a picture of Kanate. I can only assume, Doug, when I watched it back and I'm looking at the picture now as I see it on the screen, it was too low to header, or the ball was too low for him to header it. Because why would you go over your chest?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible save from Ramsdale. But yeah, I think, let's be honest, Kanate should score. He should score. But it was just a wonderful game of football yesterday. And one thing I want to ask you though, what did you make of Arteta's subs?
Wow, yeah, talking point, big talking point. I didn't have an. I mean, the Jesus one I can understand if people take the emotion out of it because he had a serious injury. Like, people need to remember that.
Yeah.
And he needs to be managed back in properly. We've got not so many games left, so we need to be smart with how we use him. So I didn't have an issue with that, Trossard coming on. The Kivior one for Erdegaard, I thought it at the time, and I still look at it now, and I don't get that. I understood the substitution with Zinchenko and Tierney because he wanted to get him on sooner before we conceded the goal. And it's a shame because Zinchenko had, to me, was brilliant yesterday. Apart from him getting nutmegged and then the cross of the goal. But the Kivior one, I didn't, unless Erdegaard was, either if he was injured or he was completely out on his feet, I would have kept him on. And even if he's going to bring him off, I wouldn't have personally put on Kivior. I don't know. You know, it's tough to chuck something. I think when his second Premier League game, I think it was, to come into that. I mean, that's tough. So yeah, I think. Go on, come in, Doug. Come in, mate. Come in.
I think the thing is with the subs yesterday. I think Klopp got his. I thought Klopp got his subs really spot on because obviously the cavalry was Thiago, Nunes, and Firmino. I thought he did really well with that, but. Yeah, the Kiwior sub, I can understand if Odegaard had like an injury or something, but I didn't think Odegaard had I don't think he had a pretty good game yesterday. But apart from obviously, you know, looking at his subs yesterday, I mean, the first thing Kiwior does is completely flatten Firmino. He's completely out of position, and that obviously gave Nunes the chance to.
Yeah.
I mean, he should do better. He has to lift that over the keeper.
Yeah.
Has to lift it over the goalkeeper. But again, Ramsdale being the man that you've been. I'm surprised. I don't know if you would agree with me with this. I'm surprised Jorginho didn't come on.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a bit. No, Doug, I 100% agree with that. I think if because I think there were a lot of. I get it. I think you know what it is, Doug. Let me rewind back a little tiny bit. As inconsistent as Liverpool have been, it is Anfield. You heard Michael Richards talk about it, you had Roy Keane talk about it, you had Gary Neville talk about it, Carragher talking about it. There is a reason why a lot of teams don't go there and just turn up and win. There's a reason for that because there's something about that ground, and when you know it's very difficult. And when you're 65, 70 plus minutes in. And don't get me wrong, some of the Arsenal players looked out on their feet. They put a lot of work in, but I 100% agree. I do think you should have brought on Jorginho, even if you're going to take off Erdegaard. I could understand that substitution, but not to bring on Kivior. To me, that didn't make any sense. And the thing is, Doug, as you know, any football fan will know, you don't have to get a coaching license to know this. When you make a lot of changes, it can a little bit upset the balance of the team. That is my thing. But no, I agree with you. I think you should have brought in Jorginho. I think it would have been ideal. And even when the penalty claim for Salah, I thought that might get given, to be honest, Doug, because I think they did look at it. But I think they probably thought there was not enough in it. But we had a chance to break away. And
oh my goodness! I thought it was another Michael Thomas moment.
And you know what, Doug? It'd be interesting to know your thoughts, actually, because obviously I like to get the thoughts of rival fans. I love Martinelli. I do. Yeah. Arsenal fans bear with me but I think the reason why, and this is not just this season, by the way. I think someone mentioned the other day. I can't remember what ex-pundit said it. When you play in the position that he plays at Arsenal, you should have a lot more assists than you do. And I think that moment was an example of what he needs to work on because, Doug, that was not a difficult pass to Saka.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't a difficult pass at all. And I think he's got 15 goals or 14 or 15 goals in the Premier League, Martinelli. He's only got 4 assists. He should have a lot more assists. And I think because I've said this about him, Martinelli. I love Martinelli. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes he's very tunnel vision. Lift your head up. It will make such a difference in terms of your decision making. It's untrue. So that's one thing. He's still young, Doug. You know what I mean? But I think that's why he probably hasn't got the amount of assists he's got, because moments like that, you should be picking the correct. You should be hitting a better pass than what you hit.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think yesterday was a prime example that if he lifts his head up, I think he's hello, Fran. But what I will say about Martinelli, for me, he's been the best left winger in the Premier League this season by a long way.
For sure.
And yes, the pass wasn't great, and it should be a much better pass. And I thought for a moment you were going to win the game. I thought you were going to win the game there.
Doug, is that moment? You're right. I thought, oh my God, please, he's got to see this pass. Come on, Martinelli, man. I was like, oh my God. And I said, the chance is gone. Yeah. Mad. And it was, the second half was just, I was exhausted, mate, after the game. I'll be honest. I don't know how I even done my fan cam, to be honest with you. All the listeners, I've come on the stream I've come in green combat, man. I'm ready for battle for the rest of the season. So, Doug, unbelievable. Listen, I sort of 24 hours later, mate. If I'm being brutally honest, I think we could be doing this podcast, me talking to you, saying that you won 3-2. Or
then again, I could be doing this one and you could be winning 3-2.
Yeah, you're right, mate. It's key moments, the penalty miss from Salah. I know you come back into it anyway. The set piece with the corner to Gabriel heading it straight into Alisson. You know, the breakaway at the end. Arsenal. It's not often. I think Ramsdale made reference to it. You don't get many chances at Anfield.
No.
You've got to take your opportunities. I thought at times, though, Arsenal were a little bit guilty of. You got to remember playing at Anfield, and I'm talking about in terms of a couple of times Granit Xhaka was just too slow on the ball, ponderous, and he got caught. And I thought, come on, like you're an experienced player, you know what it's like here. You ain't gonna have time on the ball. You make a good point about Ødegaard. I think the fact that, again, going to Anfield, yes, he played some fantastic football away from home this season, but you didn't see a lot of the patterns of play between Ødegaard, Ben White, and Saka. There's a reason for that. Sometimes you just don't go and turn up at people's grounds and turn them over. Listen, I would have loved for Arsenal to go win yesterday. That would have been a statement win for a whole plethora of reasons, not just going for a league title. But so I don't want to keep you too long, though. But I think with Arsenal, let me just ask you a quick question, mate. And I'll ask you about Liverpool as well in a separate question. I said with the 3 games, particularly away from home of Arsenal, I know we've got West Ham next week, so I'm not discarding them, but I thought with the Liverpool away game, the Newcastle away game, and obviously Man City, Arsenal have to win one of those games. Arsenal have to get 3 points in one of those. It's not inconceivable they could get a draw in all 3 and win the league. But I personally think now, I said it, we have to beat Liverpool, but we haven't done it. We've got to go to City and get a result. It has to be, because I know people get talking about City, 4 out of 5 leagues, and I'm not saying they will lose on their run, but I do think they might get a couple draws in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's over by any stretch of the imagination. I think the 3 games for me, with the pivotal ones, are City away, Chelsea at home, and Newcastle away.
Wow, okay.
I think having them 3 in that same week, is going to determine whether you win the league or not. And I still think there are some tricky games in that running. I think you've got to go to Forest. I mean, they're battling for their life. I still think
penultimate game of the season.
Yeah, that's never easy. And records are there to be broken, as I said. But for me, I still think you go in and win the league. I think City will have one eye on the Champions League, and I think that might take their eye off the ball ever so slightly. But I think it's imperative that you go away from the Etihad with at least a draw.
Yeah, you're right. 100% agree with you. 100% agree.
And I think as well, Chelsea has to be a win.
Yeah.
Newcastle, only Liverpool have beaten Newcastle away from home this season. So that's going to be a very, very tricky game as well. But it's definitely not over. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans saying that the league's out of their hands, it's in City's hands. Well, they do have a game in hands. They do have a game in hand. But what I will say is that having a game in hand is never easy. No. It's never easy. So I still think you've got the easier run-in compared to City. And I do think that the home games are going to be determined whether you win the league or not. And I think you will probably go on and win the league. I still think City have got some tough games to go to.
They still got to go. I think they've got to go. Fulham have kind of fallen a little bit off, not off a cliff, but a little bit off form. But they've got to go Fulham, and they've got to go to Brentford, I believe, and Brighton, I think. Yeah,
again, those two are not easy either. We've seen this season how well they too have been playing this season as well. So, and you beat Brentford 3-0. I think people forget that. I think you went to Brentford. I think it was it was New Year's Day potentially. You went there.
When we played them at their ground, that was around the time of when Queen Elizabeth had passed, not too long before. And then we drew with them 1-1. Oh God, that's going back a few weeks ago now at the Emirates. I think. Yeah. At the time, we was the only team to beat Brentford at their ground at the time. Yeah. Up until I can't remember who beat them, Doug. To be honest with you, I forgot.
Newcastle.
That's it.
Aye. So I think I'm not a betting man personally, but I still think Arsenal are going to win the league.
It's going to be tight. Let me get a big shout out before I start talking more. Yes, Mick, man. One of my guys, man. Mick. Love Mick, man. The link up will happen one day, man. Don't worry. We'll sort it, man. But Mick, love to you, bro. Love to you, man. Good. Like I said, Mick and Doug, man. The guys that Liverpool fans I love, man. Only two I love, man. But you make some good points, Doug, man. Honestly, like it's I think it's hard with the Arsenal fans because I think what the problem is, and that's been for quite a few weeks, is they dare to believe, Doug. That's what it is. I think if you sort of look behind all the BS, then I think that is what the reason is for the sort of really overthinking and over analytical stuff. But you make a good point, man, because obviously we've got Man City then Chelsea. I'm going to the Chelsea game. So there's rumors. I don't know how true this is. They might even move that game. It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, because they moved the Brighton game, didn't they? Which was meant to be Saturday.
Yes.
And they've moved it to a Sunday, which City played before us, Doug. What a surprise.
What a surprise,
yeah. Need I say more?
Yeah.
Say more. But no, Doug, just to ask you sort of before we finish up in terms of Liverpool, I think is it 12 points off the top four?
Yeah, 12 points. It's a big gap. I mean, we've done it before. We've been, I think, 8 points behind once, and we've managed to get top four. But you can never tell with Liverpool results.
Is it just that you can't trust them?
No, you can never trust us. I mean, as I said, the Leeds game is next Monday, which, I mean, the last time we played Leeds on a Monday, I didn't even know if we were even going to be in the Premier League because that was all the Super League nonsense that was, happening. So we've got Leeds, we've got Forest. I think West Ham's around the corner as well. So again, those three massive games, but get 3 wins and then you're right back in it. But it's just a case of if the teams above you are dropping points or not. So we shall see. But I don't think we're going to get top 4 now. I think it's definitely out of reach. But we'll still keep trying. And maybe being in the Europa League or maybe being in the Conference League would definitely be a wake up call to say the very, very least. But no, man, I think I think it'll be. Klopp's even said it himself. He's 100% responsible for this rubbish. I think he said in
Not
the Sky
100%.
interview.
Yeah.
But no, I think the thing is, a lot of Liverpool fans that I've seen on Twitter, and they want Klopp gone. Now, I'm going to be honest. We have a world-class manager in Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
I look at this saying as a very bad season. A one-off bad season. And look, I thought 2021 was pretty bad as well. You know, the 6 home defeats. We managed to get a third, which was unheard of at that time. I think we've had a bad season. I think we're allowed one bad season, and then we sort of reevaluate after what Klopp will obviously want to do in the summer. But I still think we've got a world-class manager, and I do think this is a season where you can just say, right, this is a bad season. Yeah. Go again, regroup, and there'll be players going in, there'll be players going out. It'll be all about this summer, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we've still got stuff to play for. Obviously, for me, I still think top 4 is gone, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to 12 points is a big gap, man. Big gap. But listen, the way this season has gone so far, you never really know, man, to be fair. But no, listen, we move on. I think after, like I said, 24 hours after the game now, a point is a good result, even though we were 2-0 up and playing good for 40 minutes. But a bit like last season when we played City at the Emirates, amazing first half.
Yeah.
Can't win big games of football in 45 minutes, man. I've always said that.
No.
It needs to be a solid 70, 80-minute performance, man. And that's what happens. But yeah, Doug, absolute blast to get you on. Before I want to quickly ask you before we go, because you touched on VAR earlier. I just want to get your thoughts quickly because I mean, I was at work on the Saturday and obviously saw a lot of stuff trending. And obviously one particular game with Tottenham Brighton. I would say I can't believe what I'm seeing, but well I can. Because it's been going on for quite a long time. I mean, I've recorded Ref Watch actually as a time of doing this podcast because I want to hear what Mr. Dermot Gallagher got to say about this because I mean, what my issue is, Doug, yeah, and I said this, I put a little video out on my Twitter feed. So I'm an Arsenal fan, yes. This is not about Arsenal Tottenham. This is about me watching a game of football and seeing how it's officiated. Yeah, and it's not getting to the point. It's got to the point now where these guys have to be made accountable. And what I mean by that is they need to come out and explain why they've made the decisions they've made or why somebody has not mentioned the VAR to go and check it. I don't think Stuart Abbott was a very good referee anyway. That's the first thing. But then he's one of many. But you know what needs to happen, Doug? Yeah, I don't know how it would happen in football. Like we have things happening in this country with the government in terms of we've got, for example, a major housing crisis across the country, right? Yeah. Put these guys up in front of the select committee and get them to ask them questions as to why you are making these decisions. It's because it's absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, the Mitoma one, the Højbjerg Mitoma one, that's an absolute disgrace. Like that's 100% a penalty. Like how the VAR, I don't know if it was Michael Salisbury. I don't know if he's the ref, but
might have been him.
I've got to say that for me is the worst decision I've seen because that's 100% clearer penalty than you'll ever likely see. Højbjerg stands on Mitoma's foot. Mitoma goes down. It's a penalty. I'm sorry. I will have probably spoken to loads of people, and they will probably still say the same thing: penalty, penalty, penalty. I don't think I've spoken to anyone this week and actually heard them say that is definitely not a penalty. That is a disgraceful decision.
And he was in a good position as well. The ref, by the way,
he was.
Yep.
And the other thing as well, I don't know about you, but why was Stellini sent off?
I've got no idea.
I have no idea. Stellini, like literally, the Zerbi is basically watching it go on in the Brighton half, and then Stellini is just like folded arms, just literally not watching. anything. And then Stuart Atwell comes over, sends off De Zerbi, and then sends off Stellini. It was just a very, very stupid decision. And I totally agree with you. I am not a fan of Stuart Atwell. This is a guy who awarded a goal for Watford against Reading when the ball never even went in the net.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, like I said, I think it's getting to a point now where I think Darren Lewis, spot on, mentioned yesterday. He said, "No, it's got to a point now where these guys need to come out and explain why they're making these decisions." I mean, it wasn't just the Matoma penalty. I mean, the found dunk, the Matoma disallowed goal, the Welbeck disallowed goal. I mean, what are these officials doing? And this is why fans get annoyed. Not even just fans. That's why I don't like to say the word because you need proof. Like they talk about corruption because I can't understand some of these decisions. And to be fair, Arsenal fans complain, but even if I was a Brighton fan, I mean the one earlier this season against Palace, I mean when they drew the wrong line on the play, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. So listen, Howard Webb's not, before we finish up, Howard Webb's not going to come in and work miracles. It's going to take time because it's so broken and fragmented. It's too important to be getting decisions to getting them wrong that badly. But listen, we live another day, man. But Doug, absolute pleasure, man. Tell the people where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, it's the Dugout Football channel on YouTube. Twitter handle is _1992. Instagram is Douglas.Horn. Also on Facebook at Douglas James Horn. And I'm also on TikTok, which I do actually need to change my name because it is Douglas James Horn 92, LFC 92. But I do think it will have to change to a different name for people to find me easily. But no, thank you very much for having me, Albert, and I really appreciate it.
No, massive pleasure, man. And big ups people in the chat on this Monday morning. Some of you probably still in bed, to be honest with you, but you deserve it. No work today for most people, but yeah, appreciate the people in the chat for jumping in. Like I said, smash a like on the stream and subscribe to Doug. Hopefully, it should be in the title as well. So just click on that and subscribe to Doug's channel, people, man. Football community. But yes, people, your host, Albert JTV, will be over and out, man. You'll see me again. Got no idea, but just look out for me on the socials on my Twitter and Instagram as it is displayed in the box on the screen and in the top, my top, and below it, going along the banner as well at the bottom. But people, you will see me soon again. But that is me, Albert JTV, over and out for the match review. We move on to West Ham away. See you soon, people.